Hi guys, welcome to the last video, the very last episode of Let's Play the Path discussion video, where we're going to be discussing this child right here, the girl in white, or the girl in the white dress. And this has actually taken me a great deal of thought, and it's actually been kind of a challenge to come up with this discussion that I'm going to have with you guys today. The first thing that I want to point out to you guys is, as always, what she's wearing. She's wearing kind of a small white dress, which is kind of reminiscent of like a little nightie or a nightgown for that age child. And then knee-high boots, look kind of stylish. And then her hair's back into two little pigtails, which seems like kind of a childish sort of hairstyle. And most notably, I want to point out the way that she's holding her hands and the way that she's pointing her head down while looking with her eyes up. And just so you guys, it's in case, I mean, it's kind of intuitive, but to point it out specifically, person having their head down is a submissive gesture, and then looking with the eyes up kind of gives you a sort of puppy dog-ish sort of look. So clearly she looks non-menacing, non-threatening, and although at the time when I was playing this I was totally freaked out by this this girl, it was because of the whole atmosphere of the entire game that I didn't really take her sweetness or innocence genuinely. I thought that it was some kind of a trick, which is why I found it to be disturbing. But after I've rewatched my videos a few times, I think I've come to realize that she is genuinely a good presence and a good entity in this game, even though they may have overdid it to the point where you second guess it. But I mean, just looking by her her stance, the way that she's always kind of walked around. This is just when you first enter the forest as her, everything is raining, and that right there lets you know that something is different. This is not the same kind of journey that you are going to be having, and in fact everything in the forest is there. So when you play as the different sisters, you have 3 possible locations that you can find there. You know, the playground, the graveyard, the field of flowers, the lake, the theater, etc. You're only going to have 3 of those. But, and then all of the, or I believe all of the objects, such as the balloon, the TV, the car, the chain link fence, etc. Those are going to all be in the forest. But here, everything is there. And if I'm not mistaken, it actually seemed like this map, this forest, was actually smaller than the ones that I was exploring throughout the game. And I say that because I find a lot of the objects clustered together, and I wasn't having any trouble at all finding them. Like the car was next to the chain link fence, the balloon was right around there as well. So I'm thinking that this was a smaller map. And so here, all of those locations are present. I didn't go visit the lake, but you can tell by the icons on the edge of my screen that the lake is there if I had wanted to go visit it. So already there, it's kind of letting me know that something is different. All of these options, all of these places that were available to the different girls are here for me to look at. And I find that that actually supports the conclusion that I came to with this girl in the white dress. Another thing that I was observing about the girl in the white dress is that throughout the game she's very playful and prancing. You can't really tell from this screenshot, and I apologize for the grainy quality of the screenshots, but I mean, with the rain plus the blurring when you walk and such, it was kind of difficult to take some pretty good pictures. Anyway, she does this little prancy ballet-ish sort of step, which you take as kind of light-hearted and silly and playful and kind of cute, right? And then also there are times during the game where you know, if you walk up to her as a sister, she will take your hand and walk back with you or skip back with you to the path. She'll take you back to the path, or she'll play patty cake with you depending on who you're playing. She'll give you a hug, she'll give you a kiss on the forehead. With Robin, she actually pushed her on the swing for a little bit, and she interacts a little bit with the objects around the map, such as here in the tent. And that is my evidence that she is definitely, consistently, a good, benevolent presence in this game. And here you go and you can swing on the swing. And I noticed that when you're in control of her, you can perform what seems to be all the actions that you saw her perform on her own while you were running around as one of the sisters. Well, the graveyard, right, where we saw that apparently this clearly eluding that Robin is now buried here, and six graves representing the 6 sisters who are buried, having met their end. Right, so one of the locations was the rock. I think it was a rock where you spray, you did some graffiti there as you were playing, I think Ginger or maybe Ruby, I can't remember which. I think it was Ruby. So my initial thought was that each of these places is the place where the sister met her end, but that's not exactly true because none of the sisters met their end at the graffiti rock. So that was, I found a little bit interesting. And now, after some running around, also, you guys notice that putting the pieces together, it's raining here all the time from the moment you enter the forest as the girl in the white. However, the only other time that you found that it was raining was when you found yourself on the path after having been assaulted or whatnot, or encountering the wolf as your sister. So clearly there is a connection between the events of the wolf with the girl in the white. The forest is raining all the time with the girl in the white, and the forest is raining after you encounter the wolf on each and every sister. And then once you enter the house, you proceed to go through every final room of every sister. And I didn't get a very good look at this the first time that I went through this house when I was playing Ginger for the first time, but this is actually quite clearly a bed, and these are red sheets. It's not actually blood, but it's a clear symbolism of blood. This is supposed to represent blood. It's not actually blood. If you look very closely, it's just red strips of cloth, and this is an open grave at the foot of the bed. And then I think I may have discussed this a little bit in the Ginger video. Anywho, Ginger, I might keep saying Ginger, Robin. In every place I've said Ginger, substitute Robin. This is Robin's room. She plays in the graveyard. She plays in the open grave, thinking that it's a place to play, not understanding what death means and whatnot. So this is her room. And we don't go through any other parts of the house. From the moment we enter the house as the girl in white, we go directly to the last room for each girl, where you would have found grandmother laying in her bed. Yep, see, this is, I did a close-up here. You can actually tell this is not, it's not actually the... And it looks to be some kind of lumpy form underneath. It doesn't appear to be a human form to me. I've looked at it pretty closely, and it doesn't appear to be a human form. I'm not sure what it could be. It just looks lumpy to me. Anyways, then we move on to Ruby's room. This is Ruby's room, and it occurred to me that this spinning contraption right here, it's actually the spinning toy that was on the playground. I don't know if you guys think back to when you used to play on playgrounds. They had this thing, and the bars are in the middle. The bars in the middle here, they're for you to hold on to so you don't get flung from it from like centrifugal force. So we have the chains here, and what appear to be maybe blades of some kind, and a blade that looks like it's splitting a bed in half, always involving a bed, which is interesting. And I can give you my thoughts on this towards the end. And then of course, and I think these actually are mattresses now that I think about it. They have the chain link pattern because the chain link fence is something that is seen repeatedly throughout Ginger's story, but I believe that these are actually mattresses because as you can see, there's no beds in that room. Here we have Carmen's. Just again, another look at these ending scenes. It's bed being pierced by a tree, and then of course Scarlett's room with the curtain rising on what I believe is some draped furniture and a bed in the background with the the mist and the fog and the green everywhere. Here's where I wanted to get to. And then after going through every ending room for each sister, you yourself go into the ending room of a failed run. So if you were to not encounter your wolf, and you were to go to grandmother's house as one of the sisters, you would find yourself here at the end. And then the girl in the white comes over and stoops next to her. We have a picture of ourselves, the girl in white, next to her bed. Not sure if I think I have one more. Well, we'll leave it here for now. I was pondering this for a while, and the thing that I came to is, this is what I was thinking. The ending of your journey is at a bed, and there's always a bed there. And it's grandmother here, and she looks, honestly guys, she looks dead. And if she's not dead, she's extremely old and she's extremely sick. And if I think of this game as a metaphor for life, I would see that this is the ending. This is the end. This is the end of the story. This is death. This is basically where everyone is going to. This is where the sisters are going to. If you think for a moment, just consider that their journey is a journey throughout their life, and maybe the house represents their life, and this is the end of it. This is what happens at the end of life. Being old, being dead, or being ill, or whatnot. And I know that sounds really cynical, but something to consider, something that came to my mind. Anyways, now the girl in white has safely arrived at grandmother's side. Yep, and then grandmother is, laying there, and she opens her eyes to let us know that she is in fact alive, and there's a stuffed wolf by the bed. So, then we reach the end. And then, of course, we reach the kicker. The, oh my god, the, this is not what I was expecting moment from this game. The girl in white now covered in blood, and this prompts a lot of questions. The first one, that's probably the most obvious, is, oh my god, she's the one who killed them, right? She's the one who killed the sisters, right? It's probably the most popular initial reaction, and that was my first initial reaction until I thought about it a little bit more, and I reminded myself that this entity has been nothing but helpful and friendly and kind, sweet, loving, concerned, caring towards every one of the sisters. She's been there for every single sister in every forest. So she's clearly a part of their lives at the very least. But I will present that here's what I've came to. Here's the conclusion. I believe that the girl in white is not actually a person. I don't think she's a literal person. She's not a literal character in this game, but actually an entity that is part of each girl. She represents a part of each girl, and by having blood on her right here, I think that it's her own blood. I really do, and I think that the death that every sister, even if you want to debate that they didn't actually die, I believe that every one of them suffered a death, but the death was the girl in the white, which was a part of them. Okay, I probably could have explained that better. So if the girl in the white were to represent childhood or innocence or some portion, some part of each one of the girls, and each one of the girls had something happen to them, an encounter that left them damaged. What was actually killed in that encounter wasn't them literally, but their innocence was killed, or their naivety was killed, or their childhood was killed. It represents a loss right here. This is what, and I believe that's also supported by the fact that all the girls come back. She's standing here covered in blood. If the girls were truly dead, they would stay gone. But here she stands covered in blood while the other girls come back through until they're all back and they're just fine. And then she decides to leave. So here's another idea that I would like to present to you guys. What if the girl in the white is kind of a What if she was a manifestation of the path? Okay, so put your thinking caps on, guys. According to the website, the official The Path website, I believe in the summary of the game it says, what if the story of Little Red Riding Hood were a metaphor for life itself? And if you think in those terms, the forest would represent, the dangers of the world, right? The wolf would represent a singular danger of the world, or the world, the forest would represent maybe the entire world. The wolf would represent a single danger or the dangers of the world. The path would be the place you want to be. It's goodness, it's safety, it's what everybody believes is the right thing to do, and that's what this girl might represent. What if she was a manifestation of all those things? The path, staying to the path, which is why she always brings you back there, which is why she's always concerned for your safety. And because every one of the girls strayed from the path and they had that encounter with the wolf and they met that danger and had befall them whatever it was that specifically befell them, she was the one who died because of it, this manifestation of the path and sticking to that. So I believe that's all of my all my slideshows now, all of my screenshots now. She's just gonna leave. So I don't take this game literally. You can, if you choose to, take this game literally and think that each girl encountered a situation literally that had them literally killed or literally raped or literally, drowned or what have you. But to me, that's not what feels right. It feels right that this is a really metaphorical game, and it has a lot of imagery and alluding to things that is very unclear. And what I think happened is each of these girls represent a type of person in childhood, and I really think that this is a story about childhood. Even the oldest sister, I think, is having kind of a struggle with her growing up and becoming an adult. And I think maybe that is also something that the girl in white might represent. So I, like I said, I honestly think that this is not a literal game, and that going through what they went through, each of them, they couldn't have gotten away unscathed. I don't think they literally died. I think that they lost something, and whatever it was that they lost that was specific to them, is the girl in white. That's what they lost, which is why she's covered in blood, to symbolize the death of that thing that they lost in their journey and their encounter with the wolf. So anyways, guys, this is the last video. I hope you really enjoyed these videos, and I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I hope that this discussion was thought-provoking to you guys, and maybe thought of something that you hadn't before. So I will see you next time. I would love to play another horror-ish psychological type game in the future, and I'll be keeping my ears and my eyes peeled for them. And I hope to see you again soon. Keep those brains thinking, guys. See you later.